Johnson back in studio with us. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning, Bob.
Boy, we have a lot of stuff to get to. What is on everybody's mind right now, the big T word, tariffs, right?
Yes.
What is it that we need to know about tariffs and how they may impact housing?
Yeah, so obviously the last week from a geopolitical and national news perspective, that's all we've been hearing. And the markets are not doing well. And so the question we get is, how does that impact housing? And I was listening, I'm a kind of a Dave Ramsey follower as well. And I thought he put it into perspective with one sentence very well. And his quote was, "What happens in your house makes more important than what happens in the White House."
Yay.
And so the point to that was really your own financial order is going to be more impactful than what's happening on in the world today from a real estate perspective, right? So that really, and then I started reflecting, like, I'm nearly 50 years old, been in the market, 20 plus years, and so we've seen a lot of, economic turns, geopolitical turns, all the way back, COVID, the housing crash, all the way back to 9/11, right?
Yep.
And so what I go back to is there can be, when things happen, like COVID, for instance, we tend to, there can be market stagnation for a brief period of time. 9/11 was a great, for those of you, I can't believe that's almost 25 years ago now, right? But so we kind of, freeze or get stagnant for a while, but really the only time in my reflection in the past 30 plus years that property values have taken a significant hit has been when there's an oversupply of housing. So if you want to look at the tell for housing, is what is the supply? So there's all sorts of other, what I would factor in as noise. News, tariffs, war, the Ukraine war, any of these wars, those events haven't caused the market to crash. The only thing that's had a real impact is when there's a mass influx or gluttony of supply, like we had in 2008 through 2011 with the housing crash. So that's really the market tell from my perspective.
I just want to toss this out. The market is exactly where it was a year ago.
Correct.
Right? And so just think about that. There have been ups, there have been downs, but basically we're flat. The other thing is, when you talk about supply and demand, for gosh sakes, we need more houses.
That's correct. So again, you can get into the analysis of the short-term, long-term. Is there potentially an impact for tariffs to affect materials, new construction? Absolutely. There are impacts. I'm not saying there aren't impacts. But what I'm looking at from a big picture standpoint, I think creates more opportunity than pitfalls. For instance, interest rates have started to tick down in the last week. So that creates opportunity. But again, the underlying theme from my perspective in housing is housing supply.
Tell me this. Real estate, still a pretty darned good investment, is it not?
Well, and to your point is, whenever there's uncertainty, wherever it's a war, a pandemic, tariffs, people tend to gravitate towards what they feel is more certain, i.e. more stable investments, bonds, CDs. In real estate, that is a very long-term stable investment. So people start to gravitate to what they feel safest in, and real estate's one of those examples. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole in real estate and take it one step further, I'm a big believer in lakeshore, waterfront, anything with a pond. So those are things, I think real estate, it just reinforces the importance and the strength of stability. But again, you just got to take a step back. This too shall pass. And those that make rash emotional decisions, generally don't come out on the right end.
I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, mostly because of Clay and Buck. They had some quotes from Warren Buffett, who knows a thing or two about investing and about real estate. Warren Buffett's line was, maybe some people should not invest in the stock market because they don't have the emotional strength to withstand the ups and downs, right? And it's just like when you buy a house, guys. It's a long-term thing. We saw a period of ridiculously low interest rates, right? Okay, thank goodness that is gone. And the market, in my opinion, and you're the expert, not me, but the market, in my opinion, has become so much more reliable, so much more stable, if you will.
Absolutely, especially in central Minnesota, we have a stable, to use your characterization,
Yep.
employment situation, and that's one of the underlying fundamentals of central Minnesota. Being an hour from the metro area, it is a stable housing environment. We don't see the volatility that other areas of the country see, good or bad. We don't see the rapid increases or the rapid falls. So I am a big believer in, especially central Minnesota, housing and real estate.
Yeah.
And then the alternative is renting too, which that's even more, in my opinion, unpredictable at times as well too.
Well, you're not building any kind of equity if you're renting. You're not
Correct.
making any steps forward.
Correct. But the message that I want to portray is it's always a good time when it fits into your financial framework.
Yes, sir.
So focus on, and I think that goes back to the Dave Ramsey quote, your personal situation, financial situation, job situation is what you should be making your decisions on, not the national monthly basis of the stock market.
You bet. Now, Brandon, what is the best way to get into the market? How do we reach out to you at Voigt Johnson?
Sure. You can call us at 320-774-2400 or online at VoigtJohnson.com.
Brandon, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.